This is a follow-up to the Mazda 6 oil catch can install. As you can see, it's no longer installed. Let me go back a bit. I had a 2016 Mazda 3 2.5 liter. And I put a catch can in that. And what I discovered is, number one, after the first year or so, it actually didn't put out any vapor in the can really at all. During the first, I think the 2 winters, I got maybe a Dixie cup full of fluid, but after that I could go about 20,000 miles and hardly get anything out of it. So for the Mazda 3, that was a waste. This is my first turbo car, the Turbo 6, and I thought, well, you know, maybe this would be a good idea. Why did I take the can out? Take the can on this side. It smelled. It smelled of oil really bad. I could leave the car, I'd park the car in the garage, and it just smelled the oil fumes coming out of it. So I looked at the hoses. I had hose clamps on each side. It probably wasn't the hoses. The hoses fit actually pretty tightly on the nipples here. So I thought, well, it's the dipstick. No, it's not the dipstick. Dipstick was not smelling. Well, then it has to be the drain valve. Actually, this drain valve, this ball valve, works really good. I think it's a really good part. So, smell. No, it's not coming out of the drain. Where's it coming from? It's actually coming out of these 2 fittings here. Now, both of these nipples have O-rings on them. However, if I was to watch this video and I was going to install this catch can, what I would do is unscrew these, I'm going the wrong way, is unscrew these nipples and put some liquid Teflon tape on them. Now there are O-rings underneath here, if I didn't mention that before, but I think the first thing I would do is perhaps put some liquid Teflon on the threads and then tighten it. Also, the nipples were not really that tight. I know they have O-rings on them, but for my personal preference, I did not think that they were tight enough. And that's where the smell was coming from. So why isn't it back in the can? Or why is the can not back in the car? The truth is, I thought about it. How many CX-9s, the Turbo CX-9s, have had trouble with carbon fouling? None that I've read about. How many Turbo 6s have had carbon fouling of the valves, for those people who have high mileage 6s and 9s? None. When I had my Mazda 3, I really think that the oil separator they put on the block actually works really well. And at this point, it's just too much of a hassle. I think my Teflon, my liquid Teflon trick would have worked on this particular model, but I'm just not willing to put it back in. I'm just too lazy to do it. So that's it. That's why my Mazda 6 install was a fail. So yeah.